This is Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller. For the next hour, you'll learn impactful insider information as Christian and Dan teach about the ins and outs of Seattle's real estate market. Now, here's Christian and Dan.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Seattle Real Estate Radio on KKOL 1300.
Yeah, happy Monday, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I like Mondays.
I do, too.
Mondays have always been my favorite.
Really?
Well, it's the beginning of the week. Get after it.
You're probably one of the few that feel that way.
I love it, man. It's the grind.
Yeah, you're a little different that way.
I'm weird.
That's why I like you, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird on a weekend. I'm so used to, I'm a structure guy.
Yeah.
So I'm up at 5 a.m. every day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care, Monday through Sunday. I get up. Mm-hmm. I get thrown off on the weekends because Jenny controls my schedule. I have control during the week. And so it's like, wait, what do you mean?
I'm flustered. What am I doing? What am I
Rattled.
supposed to be doing?
Yep.
What?
Yeah. But no, I'm happy. It's Monday and almost the end of Monday. But it's been a great weekend. What did you do this weekend?
So it was a busy weekend for me, which weekends are usually busy.
Yeah.
But it was kind of work and some family stuff. So we had a housewarming party that I threw for a client on Queen Anne. Bought a new place there. So that was fun.
Yeah, king of the house party. This guy is the king of housewarming parties. I love it. A book that I read that's played a big role in my success in my business personally is 7 Levels of Communication by Michael Mayer, who is America's most referred real estate agent. He's out of, I think, St. Louis, Midwest.
Yeah. And
it's a New York Times best-selling book, but a big part of his business model is housewarming parties. So when I read that a few years, 4 years ago,
yeah,
I know you were already doing them, but now it's a big part of your business.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that wants to party, Christian's partying with.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, we always do it in the afternoon, and if the homeowner wants to continue the party on after we leave, I mean, we're there for a few hours, and then we break down and we take off. But if they want to keep going with their friends and have a good fun celebration, they can do that. So it's a good time. It's really fun. And again, we cater it with Mediterranean Express. We have a little Euro bar set up. Bring some drinks and stuff, and it's a good time. It's fun.
Well, I'm kind of kicking myself because when we bought our home, and we actually bought land, and we built, it was a while back. It was before you and I were really engaged in business, but I didn't get a stinking housewarming party. What's up with that? I'm going to go back to my realtor and say,
you didn't hire the right agent.
Clearly didn't.
Clearly. Yeah, and it's not very common for an agent to do something like that. But I do it because it's me showing my gratitude for them choosing me. Yeah. I really do appreciate working with people that trust me. And again, buying a house is one of their largest, if not the largest financial decision in their life. Yeah. And I realize that, and I appreciate it, that they are trusting me with that. So
well, you understand relationships matter. Yeah. It's not transactional.
No, not at all. And I'm friends with, just like at our Seahawks party a couple weeks ago, I'm friends with pretty much every one of our clients. I could call them a friend, and I could say, hey, you want to go? I'd probably call them up anytime and say, hey, you want to go grab a glass of wine or beer or something and just chat. What's going on? What's new? Yeah, and I feel like I could do that with most of my clients, if not all of them.
You're lovable. You're a big teddy bear.
Yeah, that's why I need to work out some more.
Well, I'm trying to give a visual to our listeners. Christian he's probably one of the most likable, lovable, huggable. Not that I've hugged you much, but
I don't know if we've ever hugged.
You're just a good guy, dude. So, so what else did you eat? Housewarming party?
Yeah, and then we had a baby dedication for my cousin's son, who was just born. And it's kind of cute. His name is Arrow, which I thought was an interesting name, totally different. They came up with that name very similarly to how we came up with our kids' names, and it was just kind of almost made up and thought about it the first thought in your head in the morning. And that's how we came up with our Avalee and Bowden, where like my wife woke up, rolled over, and said, "What do you think of this name?" And I went, I don't actually hate that one. Every other one I didn't like. So his name's Arrow, and which is kind of cute because my son's name is Bowden. We call him Bo. Bow and Arrow.
Nice.
We connected that while we were doing the dedication, so everybody kind of got a kick out of that. So now the two cousins who are only a year or 14 months apart or something like that, they're Bow and Arrow.
So I got to ask you, Arrow, boy, girl?
Boy.
Okay. Could you name a girl Arrow?
Probably.
I
Maybe.
guess you could.
Yeah, I don't know. You
Good.
can name anybody anything.
I guess you can nowadays. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I don't know.
Cool.
I guess you could.
Are they local? They'll be friends?
Yeah.
They're connected. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Nice.
So, what'd you guys do? What was up with you this weekend?
Just chill.
Yeah?
Just chill. Kind of R&R. Many of our listeners may not know this, but my wife is really big into party planning.
Yes, your wife is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I ask her all the time. I'm like, Jenny, what? Are you a baker? She's not a baker because she doesn't have a bakery.
No. She
But
bakes amazing
she
things.
She bakes amazing things, but she styles them beautifully. And look, I'm not going to lie to you, they're tasty.
Oh, yeah.
But
Amazing.
you know that. Yeah.
She has her own dessert book.
She has her own dessert book. Yeah, which did
What is it? Eat More Desserts?
Eat More Desserts.
Yeah,
by
check it
Jenny
out on
Keller.
Amazon.
Yeah, check it out. It did really well. Hoping that she'll write a sequel, but more of a lifestyle.
Breaking news.
Yeah, not that she needs anything else on her plate.
Exactly.
But yeah, I get asked all the time, "Hey, what does your wife do?" And
it's tough to
it's hard.
to say
She
exactly.
is, at the end of the day, listen, I mean, she started out as a stay-at-home mom 8 years ago, and she wrote this blog called The Story of Us. And she took pictures of, just how our kids were, growing up and the events that they'd go to and the parties that she would throw. And my wife's super creative.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, very
and
creative.
she's very stylish. Like, not just clothes, but everything.
Yeah. She can take a very boring room and on a very thrifty budget, on a budget, in a very short amount of time, turn it into a masterpiece. That's what
I need I need her to help me stage some homes every once in a while. That'd be fun.
We actually thought about a while back about her getting into that, and it just wasn't her cup of tea for a business.
Yeah,
but no, she started this blog about 8 years ago. The rest is history, Christian. It's then turned into jennycookies.com. It's then turned into a book. Hundreds of thousands of followers.
Well, she's quite often featured on like People Magazine and Us Weekly, and she was on that Tori Spelling show, and
she's done some reality TV that they've brought her in to do some things down there, down in the LA market. But no, just 2 weeks ago she was on New Day Northwest.
Yeah,
on
she's
TV.
been on that like 5 or 6 times at this point.
Just styling, and what she was doing at that point was styling how to put together a real quick, simple Halloween spread. Just some, simple eats, desserts, and how to make it fun. So, anyways, my point is this last weekend, it's early November and our house is fully decorated for Christmas.
Yes, today is November 2nd, and you're already ready for Christmas.
Christmas at the Kellers. Now,
wow.
So what she has done, she started this thing 2 years ago called a Favorite Things holiday party.
Kind of like Oprah's Favorite Things.
Just like inspired by Oprah.
Got it.
And she has pretty much followed it kind of to a T. We invite our closest friends, which obviously I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
It's really neat. Couples bring some gifts and they put them out on the table. Your favorite things under $10. It's really neat. But anyways, it's become such a it's gotten a lot of attention. She's now getting media outlets that want to feature her and feature it. So the Favorite Things party here is in another week or so, and we're in full decoration mode now.
Wow.
And I'm not a big fan of it, Christian, because if you were to look into our detached garage, there's about 30-plus bins that I've had to bring up.
Like the big Rubbermaid?
Oh, yeah. Full-on Costco-sized Rubbermaid bins with Christmas decor. And although I love how our house looks, I love how it smells, pain in the arse. Can I say that on radio?
I don't know.
Okay.
FCC
whatever.
might find you,
All
but
right.
whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if that's a word. Anyhow,
it's not a real word, so you're probably fine.
Hey, we're there. So we're in full Christmas mode at the Kellers.
Wow.
Yeah.
November 2nd, Dan's house is all Christmas.
You'll see in a week or so.
I will see in a
you'll
couple
see it.
weeks, whenever that is. That's going to be fun. I'm excited to go. Apparently, I need to look good. Maybe I should shower that day and do my hair and shave. And
yeah, you might want to do that. Shannon, will you make sure he comes cleaned up a little?
That's how I normally am anyway. But
yeah, no, it's so that's where we're at. That's what we're doing, and yeah, it's November already.
I know,
Goodness
it's crazy.
sakes.
Well, I'm really excited about today's show. I mean, in addition to our normal weekly real estate and mortgage updates, We also have on my contractor, who is awesome. His name is Travis Spikes. He's with Woodcrafters Construction. He's done some stuff at our house, and we're going to have him on. We're going to kind of grill him a little bit on the cost of adding a second story, and just some other remodeling costs in general, so that people can have an idea of what it costs to do these things.
Yeah.
It's always, I mean, I don't know if you get it very often on your side of the business, but on my side, when I'm out showing homes, I mean, I get the question, what does it cost to do a kitchen? What does it cost to do a new bathroom? What kind of cost am I looking at? And I mean, it can vary dramatically based on the finishes and all that stuff. But in general, we're going to ask him some of those pricing options.
Looking forward to that. Yeah,
it's going to be good. I mean, he's good. I've used him for our house when we bought this past summer. We had ours is a mid-50s, mid-century house, and it had kind of an ugly wrought iron stairwell, and it was just not the stairwell, but the rail.
Yeah.
And it was just ugly, and we have kids that we needed a baby gate up there for, and a normal baby gate just doesn't work on that kind of stairwell.
Yeah.
So we actually had him take it out and build a custom wood one.
Oh, wow.
With a built-in wood baby gate that matches
neat.
the rest of the stairwell. And so he did a great job. People come over all the time, and they're like, holy cow, that's cool.
Yeah.
How'd you guys do that? And I'm like, well, I didn't do it, but Travis did.
Yep.
So,
and I'm seeing a lot of that with clients. They're adding a second story, or they're adding on, and man, getting the right contractor is huge.
You
there.
You went through quite a bit with your situation.
We did a $200,000 plus remodel, or new build, if
basically,
you will.
essentially new build.
Yeah, it's you got to, you can live and die by your contractor.
Oh, yeah.
We had to call in a guy at speaking of stair rail, our general contractor butchered our custom stair rail. We had to call in a guy, which one of my good friends now, we've become friends as a result because he saved our lives. But hey, he had to rebuild our custom stair rail, and he did it and got us in by our close date.
Wow. All right, well, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to give you a little update on the Seattle housing market, and we're going to bring Travis on to talk about those remodeling costs and adding a second story and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller. We'll be right back. We're back with Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
All right, so welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio on KKOL 1300. I am Dan Keller, the mortgage guy, mortgage expert.
Yes, you are.
I'm calling myself an expert.
Yeah, you're on the radio, so you must
on
be
the
an
radio.
expert.
Yeah, or I'm paying them a lot of money. No, which I'm not.
No.
Yeah, I'll take it. So, hey, it's time for the real estate experts.
That's
minute.
me.
Let's do it.
So the housing market minute with Christian. So today I'm not really going to talk about where we're actually at in the market. I'm going to talk about a cool new app that I just found. And the reason why is because as an agent that is pretty tech savvy, I'm always looking for the newest, latest, and greatest apps out there that can help me to market properties and, just to get people's eyeballs on what I want them to see. So I kind of look at marketing a house for sale two different ways because there's two different kind of markets. Some people are very confidential, very private, and they don't want their home to be plastered all over the internet. So that's one case of people, and this is not going to apply to them. This is going to apply to everybody else who wants to get as many eyeballs on their property and basically promote the hell out of it, basically.
Yeah.
So this new app that I found is called Flipagram. Flipagram. It's kind of a funny name, but it's kind of cool. So you can take you can do up to 30 seconds of a photo slideshow or live video.
Okay.
So what you can do, and then you add on basically any song that you want almost. So they have basically every popular song you can think of in their app that you can add on royalty free. So you don't even have to get permission or anything because it's only 30 seconds long. The artists or maybe the music labels don't care. So it's kind of cool. So the reason why I like it is because I can show off a house and maybe 15, 20 photos of a house in 30 seconds, have it fly through. People get the idea, this is a really cool house. They will. It's super easy to share that content.
Are they your pictures, though? Are you you're out touring and you're taking a picture?
Or I'm taking the professional photos that I hired a professional photographer to take of my listing, of my home for sale. And I then throw those into the app and put a cool, catchy song on. And it's really easy for people to share that on Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media they want to share. Only 30 seconds, super quick, promotes the house. It's just kind of fun.
Wow.
So that's
Flipagram.
Flipagram.
Flip with 1 P or 2 Ps. I'm looking it up right now, and I'm seeing flipagram.com. This is pretty neat. As you're talking, I'm pulling this up online. Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the cost? Is it
free?
It's a free app.
Free. Yeah, you don't even have to pay for the songs.
Wow.
Kind of a cool deal.
Kind of a cool deal. So nothing's going on in real estate other than Flipagram.
That's it. Nothing else in the world is going on in real estate.
Flat.
No, I just like to throw things like that. You know, like we were saying last week, the real estate market moves pretty slowly.
Yeah. And it's November.
Yeah. And the mortgage market is moving numerous times a day. So you have a lot more easy job than I do. I got to come up with crap. So.
You got to come up with data.
Exactly.
You got to come up with research. You got to come up with apps.
Yeah.
When are you going to create an app, dude?
Probably never.
Never.
No. I don't have the time for that.
You're in that space, though. This is one of the things I love about you, following you on Twitter, and you're in that. Here in Seattle, but you're in that space with the developers and the startups and the SEO and laws guys. Yeah,
lots of clients that are in that space. So it's fun. They're fun clients to deal with. They're very like-minded, and
they don't listen to radio.
No, they listen to iHeartRadio,
yeah, they do.
Which you can listen to this online on iHeartRadio or our podcast or watch our video broadcast. So
love it.
Find us on YouTube or SeattleRealEstateRadio.com.
We're going to talk about that later because we really want to try and get our listeners off the air, online, and then eventually offline to ask questions. So, hey, thanks for the update. Good stuff.
No problem. So I'm pumped today. We have, like I was saying earlier, my contractor, Mr. Travis Spikes of Woodcrafters Construction. He is the son of a home builder. He gained experience in virtually every trade while he was growing up. So I'm sure at the beginning he picked up a lot of trash.
Yes.
Right.
Nails.
After earning a degree in environmental science, he worked as an environmental consultant for 8 years. Although working in an office environment gave him some valuable technical project management and social and marketing skills, the draw to work with his hands eventually won out, and he founded Woodcrafters in 2005. His background provides him a broad and unique foundation in project management, technical know-how, and building science. So, Travis, thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome. No, this is another great guest.
We've been hitting it out of the park with these guests.
I mean, and we're
only on episode 4,
seriously,
but so far we have 4 good ones.
Man,
we'll see how good Travis is. Maybe we might change
I've seen your house. I've seen your house, and
just give me a little bit of time.
Done a fine job there. So, hey, can we pick your brain for the next few minutes?
Absolutely, go right ahead.
Awesome. We're gonna put you on the spot.
That's kind of why he's here, Dan.
Well,
it's kind of a silly question.
Hey,
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Here's the thing, though. You may not know what's coming at you.
Yeah, that's true.
And I
throw curveballs at you, and you're going to throw some curveballs here.
I think I hit the last one upper deck, though.
You did.
Yeah.
I tried.
Well, here's the thing. I've gone through a pretty rough spot with contractors. I'm not going to lie to you. We purchased a home that we basically tore down, and we had a hard time. We went through, I didn't know this, but you should have probably just hired a general to manage the whole thing. And instead, we did it wrong. Evidently, in hindsight, we did it wrong. And so this is obviously, Christian, the bar you set for, things in your business, obviously things in your life, is pretty high. And so for Travis to obviously meet and exceed that bar is pretty spectacular. And I've seen his craftsmanship at your house. Yeah, so
it's good stuff.
Great job there. But I just wanted to kind of, just for our listeners, give you an idea of what Travis does, but ask him some just direct questions on contracting. The big one right now is the cost the same for a main floor addition as it would be for any other addition.
So like going up, you mean? Or yeah. So this is a question that. So my wife Shannon, she is on the Northeast Moms email list, and she sees this question pop up probably, I don't know, once a week. And we actually asked this question when we were looking at buying a house last year, and we got a lot of responses from other moms asking Shannon, hey, what did you guys actually do? And that's actually how we got Travis's name. But I think we're going to be passing this video on to pretty much everyone that emails that question now.
Good, fantastic.
And there's a lot of people on that email list. So anyways, what does it actually cost to or what do you kind of estimate?
Well, I'll just get right into it. Doing a second story addition is about 50% more than doing a main floor addition to the house. The real reason is you're doing structural upgrades to the entire house to make it meet current codes for earthquakes, high winds, and things like that.
Got it.
So the addition itself is a normal cost, but the work you have to do to the main floor, the basement, and the foundation, that adds a bit more cost.
That makes sense.
A really rough ballpark would be about $300 to $350 per square foot.
Okay.
And that's very rough because it really matters with what things you put in the box. Is it all bathrooms and kitchens, which is much higher per square foot, or is it bedrooms, which is much lower per square foot?
Yeah, or a big rec room or something like that.
Exactly. But that's a good rule of thumb. It's about 50% more expensive to do a second floor.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot with this one since it took a long time for everything that had, with our remodel. How long does it take to do a project like this where you add a floor?
Well, with good planning and a client that is really on the spot with decision making, it takes about 5 to 6 months.
Okay. So you kind of mentioned it a minute ago, the complexities of it surrounding the earthquake, retrofit, all of that. Does that include all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people have been asking me questions about earthquakes and retrofits because of the article that was in the New York Times about
the New
2 months
Yorker,
ago. And so that's been basically every meeting I've had since then. People want to know about retrofits. So when you do a second story addition, you're basically getting the engineering for a retrofit included in the cost and in the design.
Nice.
So that's basically all done when the house is done, not just the new stuff, but everything below that meets current building codes, which means it's retrofitted.
That would make sense because you don't want to have the top floor all retrofitted, but your foundation is not, so what's the point?
Quick, everybody run upstairs and hide there.
Hide there. Wait, you're going to fall. Doesn't work so well. So, okay. What other questions you got, Dan?
I think in choosing a contractor, I mean, this is what's the best advice you have for our listeners? Obviously, what's the best advice you have for me in hindsight?
Right.
What should I have done differently? Should I have been interviewed more? What's the best thing to consider when you're looking for and interviewing a contractor?
Well, I'd approach it from 2 directions. One is to try to get the most accurate and complete bid and contract that you can. And that requires a lot of planning. Not just a set of plans, but a full material schedule that you can get help from an interior designer with. And also a full scope of work document that's typed out. If you do that, then you can get your bids and your contractors all bidding on the same thing so you can compare apples to apples and really know what you're looking at. Looking at it from the other perspective, how do you just find a good contractor? I do a lot of social media advertising, but I don't like it as much because you don't get a really good close connection with the recommendations you get. Neighbors, their experiences, friends, their experiences.
Northeast Moms.
We actually get a lot of free marketing.
Yes.
From the Northeast Moms blog, the Green Lake Moms blog, the Queen Anne. Wow. I had no idea they were even out there.
I didn't either until we had kids. I had no clue.
Yeah. But the moms, they do talk and they share advice from, the best kind of cloth diapers to who's the best contractor. And that is a good resource too.
So would you say adding another addition on is more expensive or cheaper than actually lifting the foundation up and adding a floor down there? Which one is less expensive generally?
So normally the foundation doesn't need much in the way of improvements. It's actually the structure of the walls in the basement and attaching those walls to the foundation, which they didn't used to do 100 years ago.
Got it.
So lifting the house is generally only cost effective if you have an old block foundation, which is called a CMU block foundation. Those things are total
The old cinder
garbage.
blocks.
You don't want one
like
of those.
the cinder block looking
Exactly,
things. Yeah.
exactly. So you'd lift the house if you need to replace a block foundation, or if you have a really short basement and you want to dig down a foot or two and get a real height basement.
Got it.
They would lift the whole house, put in a real foundation, make a higher basement, and go to town.
Cool. That
Wow.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it
Well,
does.
I mean, I get these questions all the time when I'm showing people houses. And I know that I've already started picking your brain when you're over at our house doing work. So,
Sure.
So we're going to, when we come back, we're going to dig into Travis some more. So stay tuned. We're going to ask him a bunch more questions. There's a lot more to talk about, and we'll be right back.
Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, continues after this. We're back with Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
All right, welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio. I'm Dan Keller, and we are going to continue talking with Travis Spikes from Woodcrafters Construction. Christian has a lot to keep asking him.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you do.
I got a lot of good questions. I hope they're good.
I see
they're
your
questions. Exactly. You do see my notes. That's because I share them with you. So Travis, you taught me something really good when we bought our last house. And I'm going to let you spill the beans on that secret. But so what are the most common things that people do before they move in?
So right when people move into a new house, they like to do a lot of the cosmetic type projects and the deferred maintenance type projects.
Yep.
A lot of the homes in Seattle are pretty old, and so people want to refinish the hardwoods, paint the inside and the outside, add insulation to the attic, and that kind of stuff. I recommend doing those before you move in. You don't want to move your furniture 3 different times. And it's generally stuff that people can kind of manage on their own. Find a subcontractor, have them do the work, and it's pretty straightforward. If you're new to the area, you may want to find a general contractor because they can give you good recommendations for which subs to choose.
Good tips.
So,
and sometimes your good real estate agent can sometimes point you in the right direction.
You probably have a Rolodex filled with,
I may
filled
have
with
one of
photos.
those, yes. I don't have an actual Rolodex, but...
I have one attached to my cell phone. It's
yes,
pretty-
there you
pretty
go.
handy.
Yeah, mine is actually big and round, and it attaches to my cell phone as a case, and I just float. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Dan's like, really?
You're amazing.
Yeah. So those are good things to do before you move in. What types of projects are better to do once you've lived in the house for a while? And this is what you taught me.
Exactly. That's to the point. Some folks want to get right in and start a big project.
Yep, like
they
we
want to
did.
remodel the kitchen. They want to finish the basement, add a second floor. I recommend living in the house for a little while first. See how you use the house. See what rooms you hang out in or not. See how the house flows. If you jump into stuff too early, it might actually change the design of the house and what you were going to do with the project. Your goals might change after living there for 6 months or 9 months.
I mean, for us, we were considering redoing the kitchen, the master, adding a bigger closet, redoing the bathroom.
Right,
I mean,
right.
we were going to do all this stuff, and we talked about doing it, or potentially talked about doing it right away. And Travis kind of talked us out of that, which was pretty unique. I'd actually never heard of a contractor talking anyone out of...
I talk people out of business all the time.
That's what I do too. So it was kind of refreshing because, I mean, I tell people
you do
not
that.
to buy houses
Yeah.
a lot, and it's very similar. And so I liked that, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, like our kitchen at first, it was a different floor plan than any kitchen that we've had before. And it didn't make a lot of sense for us just because it was different. But now that we've lived there, we go, oh, this does kind of make sense. So we wouldn't have kept it that floor plan before, but now maybe we would.
Right.
So
you may still upgrade things and improve
oh
the
yeah, we
cosmetics
definitely
of it
will.
a little
The
bit, but-
1950s mahogany cabinets with copper tiles and stuff it looks cool.
It'll come
And
back
we're-
in style in a couple more years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's starting to look cool. So, yeah. So, how can you help people try to stay within their budget for projects? I mean, what do you recommend for that?
Well, it's something we hinted at in the last segment, and that is to do your homework as a homeowner and to really prepare the biggest, strongest, most concise bid package that you can for the contractors coming in. For me, that's three things. That's a really good set of plans that you develop with an architect. That would be a full material schedule that you do yourselves or that you have an interior designer help with, and a written scope of work. If you have those things, then every contractor that comes in to do a bid is going to have the same assumptions and numbers in their bid. And
kind of an apples to apples.
Exactly, apples to apples comparison. And when I was in my science career, we would say good data in means good data out. So if you get good information going into the budget spreadsheet, then you're going to get a pretty accurate answer coming out.
So recap that. Plans.
Yep. And not just scratching it out on a napkin, but a fully developed set of plans.
Okay.
A material schedule or a finishes list, and then a written scope of work. So just a little more of a narrative to go with what's happening in the project.
I see Dan taking notes like he should have known this when he did his house.
Mean, we had the architect and we had the general contractor looking at the plans and looking at everything, and then we got some bids from flooring companies and things. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is okay, I see this bid for $165,000.
Right.
And it turned into 208, and then we had to redo this and that, and next thing you know, we're $100,000 over budget. So those are things that I think, like in the last show, you mentioned something about real estate agents and attorneys kind of having a bad rap. Well, contractors, in my opinion, from experience and just from talking to people, have received a bad rap where they underbid or they do this and then they make up, quote unquote make up. Well, we didn't know that we were going to encounter this, and then it's more. So tell our listeners, what are some things that you have in place to prevent that?
Sure. That's another part of the budget puzzle. We are a Seattle contractor. All we do is remodel old houses. And most of the real estate you sell is probably older stuff. And so we come into a lot of old house issues. And some of the things you can see right off the bat, some things you don't know until you get a couple weeks into the project. I tell most of my clients to build in about a 15% contingency to deal with old house issues and potential change orders. Now, it doesn't mean that's going to cover everything. Sometimes you'll run into something really big and you might completely change the scope of the project. But the good news is most of those old house issues you find right away within the first couple weeks of the job once you get the demo going. And they're usually things that are very easy to see even to the layperson. I can point out joists that have been cut through by a plumber 100 years ago, and you can go, yeah, that looks dangerous. You can see those things if there's rot, if there's a crack in the foundation. It's stuff that anyone can see and say, we should fix that. How do we do it? So you hit those things early in the project, and it's still early enough that you can change your material selections later.
If you needed to save some money.
To back off the budget.
Well, Christian, what I'm hearing right now is he gets Seattle contract. He gets what you're going to work on. You know what to expect. This is what you do. You work on.
He's an expert on that particular style of home.
Much like you are an expert in the Seattle King County marketplace. You're not going to go over to Yakima and sell a home.
No.
You don't
know
that market.
No, exactly.
And so that's huge. I think that's probably where I made the biggest mistake.
More specialized.
You're specialized. You know what you're working on. You know how to best advise your clients.
Right. And that brings up another good point. And that is, in my budgets, and most Seattle contractors should do this too, I build in a little bit of time to every task we do. I know that the wall's not going to be completely plumb or square.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that there's going to be little things here and there, so you add a half hour to this part and an hour to that part, just to deal with the minor old house issues.
Yep.
When you look at the range of bids you get for a job, if you pick the very lowest one, they're probably not accounting for any of those things.
Exactly.
And every little problem they run into, they're going to want to charge you extra for.
Well, we're going to focus a lot on that price versus advice. We talk about it with mortgages from, hey, the lowest rate with the wrong strategy.
Doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
Same thing in your business. Just because somebody's going to discount their commissions, just because somebody's going to come in with a lower bid, I'm telling you firsthand, I wish I would have met you 2 years ago.
Not that he would have done your work.
Not that you would have done it, but you may have been able to refer an expert that specializes in custom farmhouses
in Lake Stevens.
In Lake Stevens, for example. And so, and probably after talking with you specializing in Seattle rebuilds. However, ours was a 1937 rebuild.
Yeah, so it's similar.
Right.
Yeah, it's very similar. So, I mean, we're going to talk about that a lot, Christian, where the advice you get, the service you get, far more exceeds getting a little better deal.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And the amount of stress and time that it saves you.
Ask my wife.
Yeah, exactly.
We made it through. We're still married. But I'm telling you what, man, talk about challenging.
I can,
That's a good point. I've had a few people tell me that a couple should always do a remodel before they get married. Because it's the ultimate stress test. It'll push the boundaries on everything. And if you make it through it, then you're going to do well.
All right, so real quick, I want to get some numbers out there for people that are kind of thinking about redoing some things around the house. So in general, an average homeowner, if they're looking at doing like a cosmetic bath remodel, what do you think the cost and the time frame is?
Well, there's obviously always a lot of assumptions built in and things of that nature, but in the Seattle market for the type of project and scope that we deal with, a cosmetic bath remodel is about $10,000 to $15,000. And the big driver on that is the client and the materials they choose. Because the bulk of the cost is really the cost of the tile and the plumbing fixtures and whatnot.
And obviously these can always change based on the size of the house, the size of the bathroom.
Right.
If it's a $2 million house versus a $450 house, I mean, it all varies. So take all of this with a grain of salt, listeners, but continue. Sorry.
Sure. And if the contract is laid out well and the budgeting is transparent with the client, then you're going to see a lot of those assumptions and the placeholders for those materials. And so you're going to know kind of where you're at there. Okay. The time frame on that is usually 2 to 4 weeks. There's really no such thing as the 1-day bath remodel. That's a bath fitter kind of just come in and put plastic all over everything. So it's not a real remodel.
Yeah. No, I agree. What about a semi-custom full kitchen?
So there's a lot of range in the kitchen prices as well. About 20 to 30% of the kitchen cost is in the cabinets. And so if you go with IKEA versus up to a fully custom, solid wood cabinet, there's going to be a big fluctuation there. But for us, what we see about $50,000 to $75,000 is the price for a very nice semi-custom kitchen remodel.
What about a basement remodel for about 900 square feet or so?
A lot of the basements we do, they can be around $100 a square foot, and so that translates to around $100,000 to $130,000,
give or take.
And most of the time, you're going to do a lot of mechanical upgrades to the house while you're there,
because you already have everything open, so you might as well.
If you're going to cover it all with drywall, then you better replace your furnace, upgrade the water pipes, get the knob and tube wiring out of there, and so the houses can vary depending on how much of that has been done before or how much has to be rerouted or redone.
No, this is huge. Travis, this is great info. I want to take a minute before we go to break to get Travis's info out to our listeners. So, again, it's Woodcrafters Construction in Seattle. He's a remodeling contractor specializing in custom homes and remodels of century-old homes in classic Seattle neighborhoods. The best way to get a hold of Travis, we've got woodcraftersconstruction.com, woodcraftersconstruction.com, or grab your pen, 206-930-3352, and we're going to have all of this information up on our website.
Yep, and one thing that I want to get across, because Travis hooked me onto this, is the website called costversusvalue.com. Wow. And what that does is you can basically get generic average costs for a remodel project. So that's costvsvalue.com. So we got to hit a quick break. We will be right back with Dan's Mortgage Minute.
You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller. We'll be right back. Time for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio. This is Christian Nossum and
Dan Keller.
And now it's time for Dan's weekly mortgage minute. So what the heck's going on out there, Dan?
Yeah, here's what so compliance department at our bank.
You have to say
got a little message from them. We've been cracked down since the market melted down, if you will, in 2008, 9.
Yep. All the regulations.
Regulators have come in, and they're really, really compliant now. So I need to let all of our listeners know that I am a licensed mortgage loan originator with New American Funding, and I need to give you my MLO number. It's MLO number 115349. You can look it up.
Yay.
You can just see that I don't have any complaints, that I'm legit, and I'm a good dude, and do a lot of mortgages.
Yes.
But we do them right. So anytime I'm talking about mortgages related to the market and what's going on, I need to give that little disclaimer. So today's Mortgage Minute, I'm not going to talk much about what the market's really doing. It's pretty flat right now as far as rates. We are seeing rates are back down into the historic low levels. Yep. But I want to focus more today, Christian, in the next 30 to 45 seconds on what's causing that.
Okay.
And, we mentioned last week that we're in a very, I don't want to say weird, it's just not normal to have all of this negative global and national economic news. However, with a stock market that's doing fairly good right now, but with real estate is doing well. Yeah. New housing starts, and real estate's performing nicely, but the markets, the global markets aren't. And so in addition to that, we're seeing lower than normal mortgage interest rates. And normally when you see nice economic news, rates go up with that. Obviously, we have negative economic news. So what I want you as a listener, as a consumer, to focus on, whether I don't care if you're in the market to buy a home or you have a mortgage, and I don't even care if you don't need to refinance. A good indicator of what's going on in the mortgage industry and the real estate industry is to watch some of these global indicators. Do not watch the news. The news is going to give their opinion with their take. And, whether it's Fox or, NBC or CNBC or CNN, they add their own twist to it, which is fake, in my opinion. It's not the real news. So the indicators that I watch what's going on in China. Yep. Their economy. If you see news of, which you are seeing news of China's economy slowing. The ECB, we talked about that last week, the European Central Bank. Yep. If they're lowering the cost of money over there, it's affecting our markets. Yep.
It's a global economy. That's fine.
So what happens, when the tsunami hit in Japan, 4 or 5 years ago?
2009, I think. Yeah.
It affected the stock market. It affected mortgage rates. Mortgage rates dropped. So, so keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on employment. Listen to employment figures, unemployment rates, employment data. And try not to get your employment data on Facebook. I see so many posts about what the unemployment rates when Obama came into the office were blank, and now they're blank. He's done a great job. No. Do not listen to those. Listen to the reports that are published.
The real.
Monthly. They're published, and we go over them, and they're down. It's not great. Meaning unemployment numbers are up, which is not a good thing for the economy. Yep. And then keep your eye on the fact that it is an election year in 2016. Nothing crazy is going to happen with interest rates as a result of that.
Is that pretty common then?
Common.
So in an election year, things just kind of stay steady because no one wants to rock the boat?
Paralysis by analysis. Yeah. You've got the investors not knowing who's trending, who's up in the polls, who may be coming into
and what they're going to do.
Yeah. And we know we're going to have a new president. Obama's done. So
he can't go a third time.
Can't go a third time in the U.S.
Not allowed.
Yep. So anyhow, I went on a little bit longer than a minute, but that's kind of it.
Okay. Well, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate the transparency and the realness of that mortgage minute, especially because that's really what we're trying to do is educate people on what they need to pay attention to actually get the info they need to know and how to, I guess, educate themselves on how the process works.
And the why behind it.
Exactly. It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. You're making a large financial decision. Why are rates so low?
And it's not like people need to become an expert on it. You're the expert. But it's good for them to know what it is you're paying attention to and what you need to learn and pay attention to if you hear the news.
Much like our guest, Travis.
Exactly.
Contractor. He was
awesome.
He's so good, dude.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, we need to have him back on.
Time travel. I need to go back in time and meet that guy or meet somebody like him, man. So, no, it was a great show. We were actually talking about that over break. We need to have him back and just focus on that What was that website?
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
So he was telling us that Remodeling Magazine, every year, they come out with, or they do like a survey of 20,000 contractors and real estate agents across the country.
Yeah.
And they basically come up with cost versus value project costs and estimates. So the website that they have with all these values on there is costversusvalue.com. So COSTVS value, VALVE.com is the website. You can go on there, and I need to check this out.
Yeah.
And it's definitely going to be in my back pocket for something that I'm passing on to all my clients.
Oh, I'm sending it out to my database.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
past clients.
Yeah. No, me too.
It's
That's a
huge.
great idea.
Yeah, very big.
We're going to have him on and just do kind of a show almost solely about that and different costs and I think they even break it down per region. So they have like an east, a west, a mid, and then a south. And so they break it down per region across the country. So it's kind of it's a smart deal to be paying attention to.
It's important. Things like that. I learned a long time ago, Christian, a mentor, a coach of mine that I hired, a business coach, said, in life there's three things you don't want to mess with a man. You don't want to mess with his family. You don't want to mess with his money. And you don't want to mess with his house.
It's true. I think that was wise advice.
Yeah, and myself as a mortgage professional, when somebody relocates, I'm messing with all three. You
I know.
are too.
Yeah, exactly.
And who you align yourself with to help the money process of it affects you. And, in talking with Travis, that's what he's doing because it's costing you a fair. I mean, as you just saw, it cost you upwards of $100,000 or more to remodel your house, and you're displacing your family.
Cost that for a kitchen.
Yeah.
Kitchen alone.
So this is huge. It's huge getting good advice. It's huge and trusting the advice you get. Having gone through and I've heard numerous stories, horror stories of dealing with contractors. So it's great.
I'm sure everyone has.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to find the good ones. And like I was saying, we found Travis. His name, like we were saying, is passed around that Northeast Moms blog. Apparently the Green Lake and the Queen Anne one and the Finney Ridge one. And I mean, they're...
And that's huge. To get
word of mouth.
Yeah, to get a referral or a recommendation from sources like that, that's big, man.
Yeah, and that's kind of how we get a lot of business too, honestly. But that's a different... We don't need to go on about ourselves. So, so it was just Halloween. What do you guys... I got a question because I'm newer to this Halloween thing than you are. What do you guys do with the old Halloween candy? Do you let your kids eat it all? Do you buy it back from them? Do you make them give it to the dentist? I mean, there's weird things people can do with Halloween candy all the time. What do you guys usually do? Because I know what my parents did. They basically said, go ahead, eat it all. And I said, thank you.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if I'm that parent, though.
Well, I know what my dad did.
Yeah.
He ate all the Snickers.
Yeah. That's what my mom did.
Yeah.
My mom ate all those.
Candy. Yeah.
I gave her all the Almond Joys because I didn't like those.
Gave my mom the Almond Joys too, and gave the Snickers to my dad, and then I got stuck with the leftovers. But no,
and then my brother would beat me up for the Reese's. That's what he would always do. So he's 5.5 years older than me, so he got you. He would actually beat me up over it. Yeah,
so good. I think our kids are at the age 7. Hudson's 7, and Allie's almost gonna be 10 this year in a couple months, and. We're trying to limit that, man. I mean, this last year, Hudson he's 7, he had a cavity. Whew. And I mean, we I don't want to say we're health nuts. Jenny and I.
Oh, you guys eat pretty well.
We okay. Yeah, we're Trader Joe's people, and and we eat okay. We don't eat a ton of junk, but we're really trying to watch that, man. So we limit it. We limit it on Halloween. Obviously where we went this year is we limited what they got. And they got to have fun.
Do you do like, we're not going to hit as many houses, and that's how you limit it?
The community. Yeah, they get a little jack-o'-lantern full, and we call it a night, and they're good. Yep. Yeah, normally by 3-4 days later, it's gone. Yeah. After I go through and
you
swipe
take
the good
yours,
stuff.
And Jenny takes hers.
I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for Snickers.
Yeah, I know. I am too, actually. I love Snickers.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's good for me to know, because Shannon and I were talking about how the heck we deal with that stuff. So,
yeah.
It's not easy sometimes.
It's not, no, especially if you're on a diet.
Exactly. So, thanks everybody for listening. Yeah. Tune in next week. We're going to give you some more housing and mortgage market updates, and hopefully educate you a little bit more on things. So, tune in next week, Monday, 3 to 4.
Or for more information, visit SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. That's SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. And be sure to tune in again next Monday at 3 for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, right here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL.